Picture a standard USB cable, like the kind connecting a mouse to your laptop. It is probably, what, about 3 feet long?
Yeah, usually around 3 feet.
Right. Now imagine taking that exact same cable and stretching it all the way across an entire football field. Welcome to today's custom deep dive, crafted just for you. Our mission here is to explore the hidden, just massive scale of professional audio and video infrastructure using the HDTVSupply product catalog as our guide.
It is a massive catalog, honestly.
It really is. And looking through their inventory, I mean, we have to start with this highly specific item. Okay, let's unpack this. It is the Turtle AV TAV-USBEXTKIT1-PROMO USB 3.2 Gen 1 extender kit.
That is quite the name.
Seriously. But the crazy part is it pushes a single USB connection a staggering 328 feet. I mean, a standard USB signal usually drops off after like 10 feet. How does a connection survive a distance that long without just failing completely?
Well, it survives because it's not actually running through a standard USB cable for most of that trip. What this kit does is it converts the USB signal so it can travel over a specialized Ethernet cable, like a Cat6 line.
Oh, okay.
Right, using active signal boosting along the way before basically converting it back to USB at the very end. What's fascinating here is that this kind of gear isn't designed for a home office.
Right. Nobody needs that in their living room?
Exactly. It's the connective tissue for enormous commercial environments.
But a 328-foot cable is basically useless if you don't have some massive brain directing the traffic at the end of it, right?
Yeah, and that is exactly where the matrix switchers come in, specifically HDTVSupply's flagship line, which is the Wolfpack modular matrix switchers. Their catalog actually lists over 2,000 of these units.
2,000. Wow. And these are handling some serious scale, right? We aren't just talking about splitting a signal to 2 monitors.
Definitely not.
Because the text says these systems support resolutions up to 8K, and they scale all the way to monstrous 160 by 160 HDMI matrix setups. I mean, 150 TVs. Mm-hmm. Who is managing 160 different screens at once? That sounds like an absolute nightmare of information overload.
It does sound crazy, but think of a matrix switcher, like a massive automated train yard.
Okay, a train yard.
Yeah, so you have dozens of trains, or in this case, video feeds coming in, and up to 160 different tracks going out. The matrix basically allows you to instantly switch any incoming feed to any outgoing screen without them, crashing into each other.
I'm just trying to picture managing 160 TVs. Even with powerful hardware, how are they moving 8K video for 160 screens across a network without the system completely freezing up?
Well, they do it by using purpose-built, dedicated hardware architectures rather than just a standard computer network. And you really only see the scale in a few high-demand environments.
Like what?
Think about a massive sports bar. They use these setups to integrate the DirecTV app and platforms like Everpass.
Which is basically a dedicated commercial streaming service for venues, right?
Exactly. So they use that to display dozens of different games simultaneously. But it's not just sports bars. These matrices are heavily utilized in secure government operations, too.
Right, I noticed that.
Yeah, the catalog emphasizes compliance with federal GSA schedules, the NASA SOBI program, and they heavily feature TAA-approved products.
Let me pause you right there, because the government acronyms can get pretty heavy. TA-approved essentially means the gear is manufactured in the U.S. or an approved ally country, right? Which is a strict requirement if you're dealing with federal security.
That is it, exactly. Because when a federal agency or, say, a space program is tracking global events, they absolutely cannot risk untrusted hardware.
Makes sense.
And they need that data routed instantly without latency. But to get back to your question about how a user manages 160 screens without having a total meltdown, it really comes down to how the control software is designed.
Right. I read they use centralized hubs, like the WolfPad tablet control systems, or they have free software for Windows 11, iOS, and Android.
Yeah, they give you a lot of options.
But practically speaking, standing in the middle of a crowded room with an iPad, how do you actually know what goes where? Are they memorizing 160 different IP addresses?
Not at all. It is much easier than that. The software relies on a drag-and-drop digital twin of the room.
A digital twin.
Yeah, so you aren't looking at rows of code. You're basically looking at a visual map of the facility right there on your tablet. You simply take your finger, grab the video feed you want, and swipe it onto the specific screen in the room where you want it to play.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the Matrix does all the heavy lifting behind the scenes.
So it's literally just dragging and dropping a football game onto a digital map of the bar, and the hardware handles the rest over those hundreds of feet of cabling.
Pretty much, yeah.
That is wild. Next time you are sitting at a sports bar and you see dozens of games perfectly synced across the room, you will know there is likely a massive hidden wolf pack matrix making it all happen behind the walls. So what does this all mean?
Well, it shows us that the physical spaces we inhabit are increasingly engineered as massive, immersive displays.
Definitely.
We rely on this invisible, incredibly complex audio-video infrastructure just to keep us seamlessly informed and entertained.
And it leaves me with this final thought for you to mull over. If a single AV matrix can instantly route 160 different video feeds for a local sports bar or a government facility using a simple touchscreen today, what happens in the near future when AI systems start automatically deciding which of those 160 screens deserves our attention at any given second?